In Season 6, Episode 4 of The Curse of Oak Island, Choice Drilling continues the exploration drilling operation in the Money Pit area, which commenced in the previous episode. The hole that is being bored, called DE6, passes through the center of the 10-foot-tall anomaly at the 160-foot level, the presence of which was indicated by the results of the seismic survey conducted back in Episode 1. Unfortunately, DE6 fails to yield anything of interest. Later on, Choice Drilling punches another hole closer to borehole H8. This second hole, called H7.5, yields a strand of what appears to be coconut fiber, along with a fragment of axe-cut wood at a depth of 170 feet. Prior to the drilling of H7.5, Rick Lagina mournfully announces the passing of Zena Halpern, the New York-based researcher whose work played a prominent role in Seasons 4 and 5. We learn that Zena bequeathed Rick all of her research notes, which Rick and Peter Fornetti subsequently set out to retrieve. At Zena's home in Long Island, New York, Rick and Peter are greeted by Zena's son, Davin, and by Davin's son, Jason. The Halperns welcome the treasure hunters into the home and show them Zena's research, which includes mountains of books, sticky notes, and folders. While Peter boxes up Zena's files, Rick points out a particular book from a shelf, which he calls the Cremona Document. The Cremona Document was first introduced to the general public in Zena Halpern's 2017 book, The Templar Mission to Oak Island and Beyond. The first half of Zena's book chronicles the adventures of a mysterious character named Dr. William D. Jackson, an American researcher with purported connections to a covert U.S. intelligence agency. Jackson's 1969 discovery of a strange device entombed within an ornament from a Victorian castle leads him down a trail of clues. His subsequent adventures read like a Dan Brown novel, featuring secret societies, cryptic warnings, and coded messages written in invisible ink. Jackson ultimately winds up in Cremona, Italy, just in time to purchase a collection of manuscripts destined for the Vatican Library. Together, these manuscripts make up the Cremona Document. Zena tells us that for 500 years, the Cremona Document collected dust in the archives of a Cremonese church called San Sigismondo. Prior to that, the document was stored in the library of a Cistercian abbey in northwestern Italy called the Castrum Sepulchri. According to Zena Halpern, the entirety of the Cremona Document is written in the Latin language using the Theban alphabet, Theban being a writing system favored by certain Renaissance alchemists. When translated to English, the first few manuscripts appear to be journals written by the founders of the Knights Templar. These manuscripts describe a 12th century exploration of Jewish catacombs located beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The exploration becomes an excavation once the Knights discover a vast hidden chamber beneath the floor. Inside this chamber, the Templars discover a lost Gnostic gospel, the bones of John the Baptist, and the lost treasure of King Solomon. Also in the chamber are scrolls describing a 1st century voyage across the Atlantic to a mysterious land on the far side of the world. In addition to these manuscripts, the Cremona Document contains what appears to be the journal of Ralph de Sudeley, a 12th century English knight. The contents of this journal are too lengthy to adequately detail in this video. In essence, they describe a voyage to the New World, which Ralph de Sudeley undertook with members of the Knights Templar in the year 1178. In what is now the state of New York, Ralph and his companions supposedly discovered a tribe of goddess-worshipping Welshmen who had been living there for centuries, guarding ancient scrolls from the Holy Land. Viewers may recall Zena Halpern's bizarre assertion back in Season 5, Episode 13, that the lead cross found on Smith's Cove was actually a 14,000-year-old representation of the Phoenician goddess Tanit. Perhaps this assertion is more understandable in the light of de Sudeley's supposed discovery. The Cremona Document, or at least the English translation of it, which appears in Zena Halpern's book, is riddled with historic and linguistic anachronisms, which seriously diminish its credibility. These inaccuracies, coupled with the strange discoveries described in de Sudeley's journal, seem to suggest that the Cremona Document is likely a hoax. At the end of this episode, a California-based antiques expert named Gabriel Vandervoort declared that the supposed crossbow bolt discovered on Lot 26 the previous episode is actually the tip of a Roman pilum, a javelin once used by the legionaries of ancient Rome. Vandervoort's far-fetched diagnosis seems to echo the theory that some ancient Roman army is behind the Oak Island mystery, a theory which was introduced in Season 3, Episode 10 by alternative historian J. Holton Pulitzer. Viewers may recall that Pulitzer's theory hinged upon a sword said to have been fished out of Mahone Bay in the 1940s. Pulitzer claimed that this sword was a genuine ceremonial gladius, or Roman short sword, forged in the 3rd century AD on the orders of the Roman Emperor Commodus. Unfortunately for Pulitzer and his Roman theory, the sword ultimately proved to be a modern brass souvenir from Italy. Considering the saga of Pulitzer's Roman sword, one cannot help but wonder whether the pilum from Lot 26 will suffer a fate similar to that of its gladial predecessor. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to read a more in-depth analysis of Season 6, Episode 4 of The Curse of Oak Island, please check out the link in the description.